you have a group of young brothers that was in a Target, doing some shopping. And they had another group of teens that was in this particular Target, and they were stealing iPhones. But yet they pointed out the other group of brothers, young brothers, and then they wanted to block them in and not let them leave, call the race soldiers. So go ahead and roll that clip.
So we were walking around and we saw some kids steal some phones.
A few minutes later, a store employee asked them to leave. The teens say they were confused but complied and headed for the door. When they got there, it was blocked with shopping carts.
You guys are being detained right now because the cops ran away, and I was just like, the cops ran away for what? You did nothing wrong.
Oh, I guess this is just the world we live in. People who are the same color as you automatically get associated with the crime.
And they're keeping my son and his friends there. They've got carts and that whatnot to block them. That's totally inappropriate.
Sheriff's deputies were called. Video shows the teens in handcuffs.
They were really rough with us, and it kind of hurted me.
I don't even know what Target said when they called, but the way the police reacted, it just made me so upset because I know that my son was scared.
The Lost Hills Sheriff's Station confirmed there was no crime and they were released. But these moms say the damage was done.
I feel the humiliation of just being confronted in such a situation that's so public.
They automatically assumed, because they're Black, that they were part of a crime. And they had no connection to those individuals who stole from Target. When they boxed them in, so there's a false imprisonment action that we can allege. We're looking into action against the Sheriff's Department because they were detaining minors. They didn't call their parents. They were treating them very roughly.
Now, we still haven't, our young, people being targeted in stores. Now, they said they had stole, the people that did steal, that stole some iPhones. How did you, in Target, I'm trying to figure that out. How could they steal an iPhone? Usually that's the kind of things are locked up. I mean, will you have some sort of iPhones or display or something that people would just grab? But he was saying about the race soldiers just was treating them, like they treat Black folks, of course. Didn't call their parents whatsoever. And they would do something like that. Let me tell you a real story that happened to my daughter about, some years ago. So what ended up happening to my daughter, she went to school and they have a drug sniffing dog. And the drug sniffing dog came and hit on my daughter's backpack. So what did he hit on my backpack for? I don't use no drugs. We ended up finding in my daughter's backpack some, marijuana. I said, where'd that come from? That's not my stuff. So we didn't even know this was going on. So I got a phone call from the principal saying that, she's being taken down to the juvenile because she had marijuana. I was like, what the hell? So I said, what? Let me go up here. So I went up there. They released it to me, but I want to find out what's going on, like toward me, because I know she didn't do anything. Questions like, how you doing this? Or are you doing this? I'm going to find out if you're lying or not or whatever, right? So the cops was questioning my daughter with no parent around at all, questioning her. She said, it made me feel like I was just a criminal. I didn't do anything. So I said, look, this is what I'm going to do. I got my lawyer involved. I said, I'm personally going to get a hair follicle drug test on you, okay? Just so to be sure. So got a hair follicle drug test. Of course, nothing was in her system. Like I said, I don't play. Like I said, but then once I found that out, I got my lawyer, like I say, went through the situation with the people. They just wanted her to say, well, she's plead guilty. She can do a 3-month probation. And my lawyer said, hell no. He said, because I'm not going to even play that. My lawyer, she's a fighter. She fights to the core. Long story short, they had to throw it out, dismiss it, and all of that, right? It's just what they had to do. So it was, now if I didn't have a lawyer, they would have stuck my daughter on something like that. Didn't have none of her fingerprints on it, nothing at all. No, it was one of them Mzungu kids in school, because that school was known for a lot of these Mzungu kids doing these things with the drugs and want to stick it in my daughter's pocket. But what I'm saying is they try to question and do things to your children when you're not present. And that's against the law. They're not supposed to question your child and say, hey, where your phone? You need to call your mama. They need to come up here right now. and they supposed to be there with you as being a minor. Because you remember the situation also with, the Central Park 5, or they say the exonerated 5 now, how they was questioning them without their parents around and all of that at first. No, they can't do that. But what I'm saying is parents always have a relationship with an attorney. Find one. You can find some in the community. But do that, because one thing these folks don't like is when you have representation. Because they don't, like I said, they're so used to engaging us with no representation. But with these brothers, they do have a lawyer, which is a good thing. They got a lawyer to deal with this. But Target is very, very wrong. Now, Target come out, apologize and say they wanted all guests to feel, welcome and respected, when they shop in the stores, and they deeply sorry for what happened. And then we terminated the security team member who was involved, and say what happened to these guests is a direct opposition to inclusive experience. They say we want all our guests to have. They say our security team member took action and stopped these guests in violation of Target security procedures. We expect our team members to follow Target security process and treat all guests with respect. And additionally, all leaders at the store will retake mandatory security and racial bias training. So they supposed to reach out to the young brothers for an apology. Apology don't solve anything. I say it's embarrassment. I still think they should sue. And Target probably will settle if they go ahead and sue anyway, because they was targeted basically due to their race. It's just bottom line. I'm a firm believer black folks sue, and sue again. Make them pay for their racism in court. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the situation, with these young brothers. And like I said, parents, once again, always have your lawyer, always. Because this is the only way these people, to get their attention. I'm not talking about Benjamin Crump either, because Benjamin Crump comes after people dead. I'm talking about a lawyer could defend you when you're alive.